Today we celebrate the Feast of the Holy Family, the Holy Family of Nazareth, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. And whenever we speak of the Holy Family or celebrate this feast day, we might be tempted to idealize this particular family unit. It reminds me of the story of the old Irish woman who had anything but an ideal family. She had 12 children ranging in age from 20 to 2 years of age, and a husband who had trouble keeping a job and also had a problem with the drink, don't you know? This was all too much for the poor woman, and she found herself often at her wit's end, frustrated by her obstreperous brood and exasperated by her no-good spouse. She would be angry, lose her temper, she would yell at her husband and her kids. One day she decided to try to change, and so she went off to church to go to confession. She began to tell the priest her problems, but the more she talked, the more aggravated she became. The priest listened to her pour out her woes, and then he began to offer her some advice. He suggested that perhaps she should take as her model the Holy Family of Nazareth, and he expounded on their familial values and virtues. He then said that perhaps she should try to model her life on the life of Mary, the Blessed Mother. Try to imitate Mary's patience, her understanding, her gentleness, her kindness. When he paused, he could hear the woman under her breath muttering, "The Holy Family, huh? Them and their one." As long as we idealize the Holy Family, then they can become distant and irrelevant. However, the glimpses we do get into the home at Nazareth assure us that as our families struggle, so too did the Holy Family. Mary, it is not a secret, was an unwed mother, surely no less of a social problem in the first century than it is today. Additionally, in Matthew's Gospel, we learn that the Holy Family was an exiled family, living as refugees in a strange land, as are millions of families in our own time. The scene in today's Gospel of the presentation in the temple must have provoked turmoil in Mary and Joseph to hear Simeon proclaim that Jesus would be a sign that would be contradicted. And when Jesus was 12 years old, he disappeared on the family trip to Jerusalem for Passover, which the scriptures say filled Mary and Joseph with great anxiety. Now, there is an ancient Chinese proverb which wisely said, "Nobody's family can hang a sign outside the house saying, 'Nothing the matter here.'" That holds true for the Holy Family of Nazareth and for every family struggling to survive during these difficult days of distancing and isolation. Perhaps for some, this new era of togetherness was a blessing, helping them to rediscover and deepen relationships that were too long taken for granted. But for so many others, this time of forced presence has led to increased alienation, domestic violence, and substance abuse. Certainly not allowing for a sign saying, "Nothing the matter here." Jesus comes to give us peace, joy, and love, but he also comes to give us work to do, to care for our family, for our immediate family, but also for the human family. There are so many of our sisters and brothers who are without families. The millions of refugees who have been torn from their homes, children whose parents have been lost in the horrors of endless wars, teenagers who have become victims of human trafficking. Remembering them, we must commit ourselves this day to work for providing healing and hope for all of God's children. Another family to consider is Mother Earth. It was St. Francis of Assisi who perhaps taught us most concretely how we are related to the earth as our mother and to all creatures, not just our fellow beings, but all creatures on it as our sisters and brothers. This precious planet and all life on it is in such danger from abuse and exploitation. The countless species that become extinct every year, the climactic changes that are forever altering the face of the home for this family of the earth. This family is in desperate need of protection. We must commit ourselves on this Feast of the Holy Family to the work of becoming wiser and more just stewards of the earth and of our entire extended family on it. A third family to consider is the church. In fact, earlier generations referred to the church as Holy Mother, the church. We have seen firsthand how this family has been abused by the very ones who were responsible for its well-being. The clergy who have committed such egregious acts and the hierarchy who enabled them and covered up their crimes. So many people have expressed sadness and their pain, saying they can no longer be part of a community that is so mired in scandal and sin. Two things must be said. First, thank you for joining us this day and for having the courage to be part of this family whose ideals and visions have been so challenged and corrupted. Secondly, the church is not the clergy or the hierarchy. The church is the people of God. The church is you. You are the church. You are the family of God. For the sake of the family of the church, you must speak out. You must act out. You are the hope for the future. You are the only way in which this church can be healed. We must commit ourselves to the work of healing the church. Finally, a last family, our eternal family. The family that has come before us in faith, our birth family, our chosen families, the family of saints who have all gone on to prepare a place for us and await our homecoming. The family where God, who is both Father and Mother to us all, will welcome us home, heal all our wounds, and love us with the complete and total love that our hearts were made for and for which we are always longing. This is the promise and gift of the Feast of the Holy Family for us all. Hope and healing for our families, our family homes, our family of the earth, our family of the church, and complete peace, joy, and love with our eternal family in our eternal home. And when we finally approach those pearly gates, we can be certain that the sign hanging there will truly read, "Nothing the matter here."